Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the NASCAR picks for tomorrow, Daytona 500. Promised you guys a NASCAR video, so here it is. Started playing NASCAR it's been almost a year. It was one of the first sports back when sports returned, and it is actually pretty fun just because anything can really happen. And it is a decent sweat, especially with the last 15, 20 laps. So I know a lot of new people are going to be playing it because first Sunday without football. So and look at these tournaments on Draftkings, 200K to first, you have 100K on Fanduel. So a lot of money to be made. Go ahead and give you guys some picks that I like. So let's get started. As always, appreciate you guys to the like button, subscribe. You can check out the website, check out Twitter, check out Prize Picks, all that stuff in the description. So first thing got to know about Daytona is that it's a race where you're probably going to see some crashes here. Lots of crashes have happened. Looking at last year's results, you had Denny Hamlin win after he led 79 laps and he started 21st. It is 200 laps, and some races on NASCAR, you're going to need to get guys at the top that can just lead a bunch of laps here. Just because on DraftKings you get those extra points for leading laps. But Daytona is a different story. You saw in the top five, nobody started in the top 10 besides Harvick. You've seen Boyer finish sixth, starting 29th. Brendan Gaughan finished seventh. There were some big crashes last year. So it's a race where you definitely want to get some drivers in the back. And looking at the players on DraftKings, we do have some top end guys starting in the back. And then also you want to utilize the website. I came across this website when I was doing NASCAR research last year. It's driveraverages.com. It gives you all the relevant stats you need to kind of get all your stats from every driver. So these are the drivers that have done well at Daytona since February 2018. Looking at just average finishes, you've seen guys that you normally don't expect to be up here, like Boucher, Newman, McDowell. For looking at driver rating, you see some of the better drivers do well. Logano has done well here. Blaney, Stenhouse, he's never a fun player to roster because he's always wrecks a lot of the time, but he's done well. I mean, in terms of rating, he has just 3 top 20, so hasn't done much in terms of fantasy scoring. Looking at wins here, you've seen Denny Hamlin 2 wins in the last 6 races. You've seen Eric Jones, Austin Dillon, Byron, some decent drivers here done well. Looking at top fives, it's Denny Hamlin has kind of dominated Daytona recently. 4 top fives, and you have Boucher with 3 top fives. Truex done pretty well as well with 2 top fives. So I do think that looking at some drivers to target, definitely think Denny Hamlin is popping with just how well he's doing. He won last year. So he's going to be one of the drivers I'm looking at. I like Logano, Truex. Looking at some drivers that haven't done too well here. See if we can find some top drivers that maybe we can avoid. Reddick, it's only been 3 races, but hasn't done great. Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski. Keselowski just has 1 top 10. Only has led 40 laps here. Looking at laps led as well, Hamlin, Blaney, Stenhouse. So those are kind of the guys that have done really well, and you maybe want to look to them. If we look at Stenhouse, we'll see where he started and how much he was able to capitalize on that. So in his last one, did get into an accident, but started first in one of the races. I was probably when he led 24 laps in that one, and then back in July 2018, he had 51 laps led. He's been starting in the top 10 for a lot of these races. The finishes haven't been great, but if we can get some nice place differential upside with Stenhouse, could be a decent option. He's never a safe play, but so we're looking at Denny Hamlin. If we look at his track record at Daytona, it's really pretty remarkable. Finished third back in August. They haven't updated the most recent race yet, but he's done well. He won in 2020 in February, third, starting 21st and 10th. Another win here. So it's really Denny Hamlin on DraftKings. He is the most expensive driver at 10,400, but he's starting 25th. So not only do you get a guy that has a decent chance to win, but you get a whole lot of place differential points if he does happen to come out on top. So really like Hamlin. Blaney is $10,000. He's done pretty well at Daytona as well. If we want to look at Ryan Blaney, can look to average a driver here. Blaney, if we try to look to him, He's been finished 6th after starting 9th, finished 2nd after starting 27th, and then a couple of accidents. So he has had a tendency to kind of wreck here. So, I mean, like a lot of drivers do, it's kind of just, it's pretty random for a lot of drivers if you're going to wreck or not. So Blaney looks decent at $10,000. See if we can find a somewhat a cheaper option like Martin Truex is only $9,300. I want to get the guy starting in the back and getting a top end driver in Truex starting 23rd, and he has done pretty decent here. If we want to look at average finishes for Truex, he is finished around 18th, but he has two top five, so he probably wrecked a few times here. Look at his recent record at Daytona. It's been a fourth place finish, accident, 22nd, accident, second. So if he's not wrecking, he tends to finish, well, twice he's finished in the top five in a few years. At this price tag, starting all the way at 9,300. I mean, starting all the way back at 26, like Hamlin, Truex, two guys I think you can target. Both starting in the back gives you a ton of upside here. I don't think I want to get a ton of drivers starting in the top like five. Yeah, Bowman starting, leading the race off at 9,200. Him and Byron, like, you're gonna need one of those guys to finish at the end. You're gonna need them to finish kind of where they started and lead a bunch of laps here. Just with how crazy this race is, you want to get guys in the back. You have Ross Chastain checking in at starting 34th at 7,800. I think he's definitely a decent driver. If you want to look to what he's done at Daytona, it's been average finish of 20th in 5 races here. In his last 5 races, we can go ahead and look at them in a little bit more detail. So it's been, he's wrecked twice, but when he hasn't wrecked, he's finished twice in the top 16, which is good. And then he finished 30th at that cheap price tag, 7,800 for guys starting 34th. Like, so many of these guys can easily come up. We had a 39th place starter last year in Brendan Gaughan, finished 7th. Corey LaJoie finished 8th. So you want to get drivers in the back because there's going to be a lot of wrecks here, and that's even if your guy wrecks that starts 5th and a guy wrecks that starts 36th, at least you're going to get, like, the guy that's wrecks that he's starting in the top 5 is going to lose so many more Draftkings points because of those, like, he's going to get so many negative place, or so much negative place differential points, because if he's starting 6th and he wrecks, he's going to finish like 40th, and then he's going to lose like 34 points, and then whereas like Jones wrecks, he'll only lose like 9 points. So speaking of Jones, love Eric Jones, $7,300. I think you can also go to Chastain, who we're talking about, at 7,800. Jones, um, he's in a different, he's with a different group this year with Richard Penny. He's kind of taken, I think he's taken Bubba Wallace's car, or Bubba Wallace's like spot as a 43 driver. So a little bit worse equipment, but it's not going to really matter when you have. It's not going to really matter in this race when anybody can really do well here. We'll see how well Jones has done here. Done pretty well. He does have a win, 2 top fives. So it is a bit skewed looking at this data because it's with a couple of different equipments. But I do like what I see starting all the way back at starting at only at 31st at 7,300. I think you can sign me up for some Eric Jones. Chastain, I like that price tag on him at $7,800. And then I'll leave a couple spots empty here. We've seen maybe you can go to Austin Cindric at starting 39th at 6,100. And I mean, just want to get drivers in the back. Like, I feel like you can go target a couple of these drivers that are cheap, and then maybe pay up for another guy. Like if you wanted to pay up for maybe like Keselowski, and then 5,100, you can go with like your guy starting 40th, or maybe go with um like McLeod. None of those guys are gonna win many races, but maybe they can finish like top 20 if there's some wrecks here. So definitely would go Keselowski as the other driver above 10,000. I don't think I would. I mean, you couldn't go Blaney if you want to, but want to kind of get guys that are starting a bit further back here. Harvick is a guy that if I was going to target anybody in the top 10, it would be Harvick. Kyle Busch, he won like a few days ago here, but that was kind of just like an amateur race. He's starting 10th, so he doesn't give you that much of a ceiling. I mean, he does give you a ceiling if he wins, but it doesn't give you that much of a high floor. And Stenhouse is 81, he's kind of priced up. Reddick at 29th. Looks decent. Cole Custer. Chase Briscoe. Like, you can go Custer. And then, like, pay for, like, Di Benedetto to save some money and be different. But I do feel very good about Denny Hamlin, Truex, Eric Jones. Those three I feel really, really good about. And then like Chastain, I think looks decent at 7,800. So yeah, pretty much have a quick breakdown for Daytona tomorrow. Just looking back here, if I want to see if I missed anything. Like Hamlin looks great. Like Jones, two top fives. He looks great. We got Hamlin, Jones, Truex. Some of the better track record drivers here. Busch has done decent here. So he's definitely someone that we can target, but starting 10th, like I mentioned, he's a little bit risky. And then like Chastain, definitely could go to him too, but at least these three drivers I'm definitely going to have in my lineup. So that's it for the DraftKings picks. The same thing applies for Fanduel. I'll just kind of run down their pricing. Fanduel, Hamlin is the most expensive driver, no surprise, 14,000. We have Keselowski. Checks looks pretty good at 12,500. Then go down a bit. Like Truex is only 9,300. He looks great. Kurt Busch, somewhat appealing. Starting 20th. Definitely won't have Bubba. Definitely won't have Christopher Bell. Chastain looks good at 7,500. You can go Reddick. You can go Cole Custer. Just really, the trick for this race is to just get guys that are starting back and just kind of roll with them. Like Eric Jones is only 6,000. So FanDuel, it's just kind of the same picks. It's Eric Jones. It's definitely Denny Hamlin, and then it's Truex. And then FanDuel is easier to pay up for drivers, but on a race like this, I think you might as well just leave some money on the table. So it's gonna be a fun one, just because anything can happen to this race. Like, you make a bunch of teams, like you really want to spread out your exposures. Minus, I mean, you can definitely lock in like these top guys, but you can also just cross out a bunch of guys starting in the top like 10 or 5, like Dylan Bell. So pretty, gonna be a pretty fun one. Can't wait for it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Best of luck tomorrow. Hopefully, you guys win some money, and see you all next time.